Welcome back.
Hello and welcome to this video where today we will be reviewing Code Vein, which is a wonderful and beautiful game made by Bandai Namco. Today we will be talking about multiple elements of this game and what makes it amazing. Just a heads up, these are all my opinions on why this game is great and why I believe more people should be playing this game and enjoying it. So without further ado, we'll get started. But before then, I will let you know there will be spoilers, of course. We are going to be going through a good chunk of the game. So if you don't want to watch, don't want to be spoiled, you might want to stop here. Of course, where are we going to start this video other than the amazing tutorial, which includes this great character creator that of course is very in-depth and wonderful, and you can create the character of your dreams. As you can see, there's a lot of presets in this game that lead you to a whole bunch of different types of characters if you decide that you're just going to randomize or press a preset and just go with it. You are not stuck with, say, your hair, your eye color, what you're wearing, what the color of it is. You can, whenever you're in the game, you can come back and you can actually fix that. But of course you're stuck with, say, skin color, your height, your body type, and just your overall head size as well. Honestly, Bandai Namco, of course, coming in again with an amazing character creator that leads to some of the most beautiful characters I have ever seen. And this is after going through and trying to make an ugly character. I feel like it's just not possible. Yes, creepy. Yes, kind of weird. But there's still some sort of feeling where it's just this gorgeous anime character that somebody would love. So we're going to continue on with the rest of the tutorial, which includes an actual fighting tutorial besides this character creator, because I could spend all day talking about this. But we're going to continue on and talk about the next part, which is actually the fighting. So after that amazing character creator, you're going to be plopped down into this fighting arena. This is where you're going to get used to the fighting style that is in Code Vein. And here's the thing though, every single blood code is different. The fighting styles are enormously different whenever it comes to each blood code. So this is the hard part, where you have to figure out which blood code at the very beginning with the 3 that you are given really match your fighting style. Though that being said, the tutorial itself did a really good job at helping you really get the basis for the menus and stuff like that. So I would say don't skip it. Chug through it if you need to. I know it may be boring. I didn't really find it boring, but you really need to sit through this, especially the first time around. Every other time, not so much, but the first time around, you really should sit through it and really get a grip on what you are. And since I talked a lot about blood codes, we should probably just go ahead and jump right into them and look at the variety that I have so far collected, as well as a couple other ones that are given to me by the companions in the game. So here we are. We're going to look at some of the blood codes that you get. Of course, the first 3 in the menus are the ones that you get at the beginning of the game. That would be a fighter, a ranger, and a caster, I believe is what it's called. Again, each one has their own little skills like I'm showing you, but you again have to find the one that really fits your fighting style, just like you have to do in every single other game that has kind of this fighting way. You can actually pick up some of these blood codes out in the open. Some of them are given to you by the companions that are actually at the save point, like Louis, who is on the screen right now, and he actually gives you his blood code. He's the first one to give it to you. I find this to be really, really, really important to the game because it kind of progresses people's storylines, and the more that they trust you, and it actually feels like you're a giant family. So I feel like this is something that really kind of cohesively brings the group together that you normally don't talk to that often, but it does, I feel like, help you feel like you are connected to the people that are inside this world, because you walk through their memories and you can see and feel basically everything that they have gone through, everything that they have lost with every single time they have woken up as a revenant. again, it is something that you have to go through and find exactly what fits you. I found my own blood code that I actually really liked, and I think it just takes time, but it definitely doesn't feel like a waste of time just sitting here and going through each one and looking at all the skills to find which one really resonates with you and feels like something that you can stick through with the rest of the game. Now that we have talked about the blood codes, we should talk about the blood veils, which actually support the blood codes and the way that they work, and it actually helps them to do their job a little bit better. So I figured the best way that we can look at blood veils would be to see them in action. So I actually have the blood veil on my blood veil. It's a festive blood veil is what it's called. There's actually a full name for it, but as you can see, it's actually the piece of fabric that's on my back. It's red, it has a whole bunch of straps on it. It helps me fight, and by that I mean it actually helps me gain back Ichor, which is something that you use to fight with in this game. And it is also an amazing fashion statement that gives you some really cool abilities. Besides the backstabbing method, it also helps you parry along with other things like that. Each blood veil has its own fighting style, which of course is kind of new and different. And as you can see, I got hit because I was trying to actually charge up my Ichor method, but that's the one issue that I've had with it, is that it takes a very long time to charge up, so you do have to be very strategic with it. As you can see, it does take a bit before the knives come out of the ground. If you let go of the button way too soon, then it doesn't automatically go off. But that being said, I do really like the blood veil method and how it's just something extra to help you fight, and it's not just all about your weapons and stuff like that like you've seen with other games whenever it comes to a backstabbing method. But I will have to admit that the fighting styles, if you didn't have your companion with you, would be very much like, say, Dark Souls and other games of the Soulsborne community. Maybe not really Sekiro, but I would say definitely Dark Souls in and of itself. But that being said, companions are very important to the game just as much as blood veils are, and you will see with this next enemy I will backstab and you will get to see the effect of it. But like I was saying, companions are very important. They do play a vital role in this game. They help you, heal you, and actually bring you back from the dead a couple of times before they themselves can't heal anymore. But here you go. This is the backstabbing technique for this specific blood veil. I think it's really cool. I love it a lot, and it is definitely a fighting style in the game if you really like to sneak up on people. But now we're going to talk about the companions and what they do for you. So we're back at the sanctuary. We're going to be talking to some of the companions, and a really cool mechanic in the game is that you can actually exchange valuables that you find outside in the field, and you can get valuables back. That being said, you can actually get really cool things that you wouldn't actually be able to get outside in the world or be able to find at the merchants. So you can actually get their weapons and their Ichor blends, which do certain things for each one. I personally believe it's actually really cool that you can build up this relationship with your companions. I have Louis as my companion, so I have given him a lot of stuff just because I think it's really cool. But I also noticed that there are things that you give them that they're really excited about, and then there's some things where they're like, oh, I guess I'll take this, it's okay, you know, like this camera. He did not really seem to enjoy it that much. So I'm sure that there are certain things that you can give them that they really like, and certain things that they don't really like that much. But every single one of the companions you can do this with, and I think that's really cool, and it just kind of builds up and feels like you have this little relationship with your companion, and that you fight maybe a little bit better in the field the more that you give them. I think that's really awesome. And honestly, it definitely ties in with the story itself. The story gets very in-depth very quickly, and I believe that the more that you walk through people's memories and the more that you pick up of the vestiges and use them. It seems like the story itself just kind of takes you along with it rather than you having to fight to find the next piece. And I have mentioned that I get lost in this place so often, not Sanctuary in and of itself, but the whole game. There's just so much to do, and I just get taken on every single little back alley every way because I want to see more of the game, which is great. The story is just that enthralling and that amazing. And we will talk next actually about something that I find to be really funny in this game that I wish was kind of in Dark Souls, but in maybe a different manner. You can actually reclaim some of your missing haze, which is what this game uses as its money currency bit. And I think it's really funny that you can do this. Of course, it is very like Japanese-ish kind of type game, and I think it's funny, but it's actually a very integral part of the game because you can go back and look at old cutscenes while you're in here, and I think it's very, very vital for you to eventually go back and see it. So we're going into this part. It is actually the hot spring, which is hilarious to me, and you can actually come back here. There's normally a whole bunch of your other companions here at the same time, but you can actually go into the hot spring and view old cutscenes. Everybody comes in every once in a while. No one's talking or anything like that, but it's just a way for you to get your haze back as well as view the cutscenes, and you can just relax there if you want and then come out at any time you please. Besides going into the hot spring, you can also go walk in Vestiges, which I definitely recommend. It's a really cool option in this game. You can actually see the past memories of a whole bunch of different people that were out in the field who were revenants that died and then came back. I'm actually going to be walking through Louis, one of his memories, which is actually a shorter one than the very first one that you walk through. But they actually talk to you afterwards about it, about what was happening, and I think it's actually a really cool thing to do, just because you get to feel what your partners have been going through, what their life was like before you were there. Of course, there is farther in the game, like I've said before, spoilers, you will be going back in time yourself as well, looking through your own vestiges of sorts, and seeing what life was actually like. You actually get to meet Louis' sister Karen, and talk to other people, of course Silva, who is a major person in this story. I think it's just a really awesome and fantastic thing to have this, to where you're able to see what these people have gone through and what shaped them as the people that they are today. Even though they can't maybe really remember, it's just a kind of touching thing that you actually get to help them out a little bit. And it does, to me, it helps out with the story and just kind of brings it all together, which I think is an amazing thing to do as a storyteller. And of course, like I've said before, this game has so many amazing things to it. It's just a great game to just sit down and play and put a lot of hours into it. And honestly, yes, of course, it is very difficult and sometimes, but I couldn't think of a better game just to sit down and just pour some time into. And honestly, the story itself just makes it all worthwhile. I hope you have enjoyed this review, and I hope you have enjoyed the story itself and all the things that is Code Vein, and I hope that you yourself get to enjoy the Code Vein life and the game itself. Thanks for watching!